Hi guys and welcome to MotorBeam. If you are looking to buy a 200cc motorcycle in the Indian market, well, there are plenty of options. But the best two are of course the Apache 200 and the Pulsar NS 200. We had earlier compared the Apache 200 around when it was launched with the Pulsar AS 200 when the NS 200 was discontinued. The AS is good and now the NS is back, and with the BS4 update it also got the option of front channel ABS. The Apache finally is shipping with ABS, but which of these two motorcycles you should be buying? Well, today's comparison is going to help you choose that. As you can see, in terms of design, it is the Apache 200 which looks better, especially this race edition 2.0. The Pulsar 200 does look sizable, however it started to look dated now because it has been on sale for almost 6 years now. Yes, certain elements on the Pulsar do look better now thanks to the changes in color, but that's not enough to fend off the fresher looking Apache 200. And being old here also translates to the instrument cluster, which kind of looks dated on the NS 200. Yes, it's an analog digital unit which I personally prefer thanks to the analog tachometer, but the one on the Apache is just better. The all digital unit not only offers a host of more information on offer, it's just easier to use and more informative any day. And when I say informative, I'm not joking over here, because this motorcycle not only has a 0 to 60 recorder, it has a lap timer, top speed recorder, gear position indicator. Both these motorcycles use raised clip-on handlebars, and of course, the Apache, not being as sizable as the Pulsar, is suited to shorter riders. Meanwhile, the Pulsar is suited to taller riders with a more upright seating position. The Apache is a bit leaned in. Both these motorcycles get center set foot pegs, and the ones on the Apache are slightly closer to the rider, whereas you get a lot more space in the Pulsar to move around. However, you can lock your knees to the tank on the Apache better. Both these motorcycles get similar sized pillion seats with chunky grab rails. The one on the Apache not only are more functional but also look better. However, pillion comfort is better on the Apache thanks to the softer seat when compared to the NS 200. Now here is where there's a big difference. In spite of both these motorcycles using a 200cc 4-valve single-cylinder engine, it's the Pulsar with its liquid cooling that has a slight advantage in terms of power as well as torque, because it just produces more than the Apache, which is an air and oil-cooled motor. As expected, it's the Pulsar NS 200 which is faster than the Apache 200 when you talk about 0 to 100 km/h acceleration or even top speed. But that really doesn't give you the full picture, because it's the Apache which is more rideable, has better low end punch, and is thus the better city performer here. Both these motorcycles redline at 11,000 RPM, but it's the Pulsar which has a better top end. It really screams to the redline. The Apache though has a better mid-range, and obviously, like I told you, it has a better low end as well, making it the overall more practical machine over here in terms of engine performance. It also sounds better thanks to the double barrel exhaust, and the refinement levels on the Apache 200, well, I never thought I would say this, is actually better than the one on the Pulsar NS 200. Both these motorcycles return similar fuel efficiency, that is between 35 to 40 km/L. While the Pulsar has a 6-speed gearbox which aids in highway cruising, the Apache 200 gets slipper clutch. It does have the better gearbox here, and the clutch is also better calibrated on the Apache. The Apache 200 is underpinned by a double cradle frame. Meanwhile, the Pulsar uses a state-of-the-art perimeter frame. Yes, it's a better frame over here. However, the Apache setup is just better, and it is the better handler over here. Not only is it easy to flake, it's more maneuverable and also holds its line very well around corners. Meanwhile, the Pulsar is more stable on a straight line. It doesn't get a windshield visor, but the Apache 200 isn't usable either. TVS no longer offers the option of opting for Pirelli rubber with the Apache 200. It only gets TVS Remora rubber. Meanwhile, the Pulsar NS 200 now comes with only MRF rubber, and between both these motorcycles there is not much to choose from in terms of tire grip because they are both very similar over there. The Apache 200 has a softer suspension setup compared to the Pulsar stiffer unit, and it is the Apache once again which has an upper hand over the Pulsar, this time in terms of ride quality because it just does a better job on Indian roads. The Apache 200 gets a smaller front disc compared to the Pulsar, but the rear disc on the Apache is bigger than that on the Pulsar. Both these motorcycles get the option of ABS, and the one on the Apache is a dual channel unit. Braking performance is much better in the Apache 200. It gives more feel and feedback when compared to the Pulsar, and yes, the Apache does have the upper edge in every possible way when it comes to dynamics. Now coming to the practical bits, there's not much to choose from between both these 200cc motorcycles because the headlights of both these motorcycles offer illumination at night. The fuel tank capacity is similar at 12 liters. Meanwhile, the mirrors on the Apache are better than that on the Pulsar. They offer a much better view of what's behind even when you have a riding jacket on. Meanwhile, the Pulsar's mirrors aren't of much use. The Apache 200 also has the better ground clearance here. However, you won't scrape the underbelly of either motorcycles on even the worst of speed breakers. The NS200 does get backlit switches which do look cool at night, but in terms of overall quality, it is the Apache 200 which is better. The Pulsar 200 does get these cool LED indicators, and the Apache is still stuck in last decade with these halogen ones. The Apache 200 does get the option of fuel injection. Unfortunately, the Pulsar NS200 doesn't, in spite of Bajaj actually exporting the NS200 with FI to Turkey. However, you can't opt for the combination of FI and ABS because the FI model doesn't get the option of ABS. You can only get ABS with the carb model which is present here today. When Bajaj launched the Pulsar NS200, it was quite a revolution and it took TVS a lot of time to play catch up, and they have caught up, and how. The Apache 200 is better than the Pulsar NS200 in most aspects, and the biggest plus point here is that it's actually cheaper than the Pulsar. Yes, that's right. The price difference between the top of the line Apache as well as the Pulsar is a massive rupees 8,000. The Pulsar being more expensive and the Apache getting dual channel ABS against the Pulsar's single channel unit. In today's video, it is the Apache 200 which is the winner, and Bajaj Auto needs to do something to just because Honda doesn't have a 200cc offering, you come up with the FZ25.
Well, yeah, the Honda guy is with the Yamaha, but it does not make sense to buy 200 when you can buy a 250, yeah?
Yeah, but it still produces the same power as the Apache 200.
It's almost the same price again.
No, it's more expensive by 15,000.
That's fine. And if you could wait for just 2 more months, this one will also get ABS.
This has had ABS since launch, although it was not available, but it has had it on paper.
It does not make sense. The FZ25, you get the Japanese engineering here with better engine.
Yeah, but these motorcycles don't rust as much as the FZ does.
Well, that's the flaw there, but you get better. You get more city maneuverability, you get more fun on the FZ. You get...
Well, as Dhanil says, the FZ25 is also a great option in the segment because yes, it is faster than both these motorcycles over here and is more comfortable too. However, in terms of handling, both these motorcycles are better. You do pay a premium for the Yamaha, but if I had to choose a motorcycle between these three, I would close my eyes and pick the Apache Race Edition 2.0. And stop staring like this. It's done, it's over. If you like this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, that's the like button, and also subscribe to the MotorBeam channel. I will leave Dhanil to make his own judgment over here. Which bike did you decide finally?
Honda!
Yeah, you can remove the fairing on your CBR 250R.